Hello learners. We just learnt about negotiation and bargaining in the previous videos. Now we are going to learn about the factors affecting negotiation. Let me just take you through the various slides explaining the factors affecting negotiation. Now, individual differences in negotiation involves influence of the factors such as structural features of the negotiation. Other factors affecting negotiation are emotions, personality, gender, and culture. Let's talk about personality as one of the factors influencing the negotiation process. The personality characteristics and negotiation talks about opponents' negotiating tactics, which can be predicted to some extent if his or her personality is known. Personality and negotiation are related to each other but have weak relationship as well. Agreeable or extrovert negotiators are not successful in distributive bargaining. Extroverts are friendly and outgoing, and they like to reach on a cooperation and mutual consensus rather than to butt heads. These traits find a place in integrative negotiation but may emerge as liability when interests are opposed. And who are the poor negotiators? They are usually not concerned about their own outcomes, rather, they are highly interested in having positive relationship with others. To avoid unpleasant conflicts, these people plan to give in quickly and tend to be very anxious about disagreement even before negotiation starts. Now, mood or emotions and its influence on negotiation. Moods and emotions, they have an influence on negotiation, but these moods and emotions depend on the type of negotiations as well. In distributive bargaining, negotiation for power, equal status with intense anger leads to better negotiation outcomes because their anger induces concessions from their opponents. Bargain can be done with more assertive and angry negotiations. People at lower level of job or with less power, anger, and assertiveness may end up with worse outcomes. Thus, you are negotiating with a peer or a subordinate, being in the position of a leader or a boss, then displaying anger may help you, but if you are an employee negotiating with a boss, then it might hurt you. Understanding the role of anxiety in negotiation. Anxiety also may displace effect on the negotiation. For example, according to a research by Olekans and P.L. Smith in 2009, individuals who experienced more anxiety about a negotiation used more deceptions in dealing with other. Another work suggested that anxious negotiators expect lower outcomes from negotiations, respond to offer more quickly, and exit the bargaining process more quickly, which leads them to obtain worse outcomes. This is also supported by a research study by Brooks and Schweitzer in 2011. Now, integrative negotiation, on the other hand, displays contrasting characteristics. Positive moods and emotions appear to lead to more integrative agreements. This may happen because positive mood leads to creativity. Now, understanding the influence of culture on negotiation. With the emergence of globalization, cross-cultural negotiation finds its importance. Negotiation is a summation of exchange, interaction, and communication. Culture's impact on this process is quite significant. Cultures do influence negotiation, and knowing another party's culture allows intense and thorough preparation, clear presentations, better bargaining, and more effective agreement. Managers from masculine culture are more assertive, independent, and competitive. They focus on winning at all cost. Managers who give more values to avoid uncertainty, like China or Japan, will rely on bureaucratic rules and procedures while negotiating. Culture that are in ease with ambiguity, like North America and Scandinavian, will resort to free-flowing discussion that may lead to creative solutions. Now, just since we were talking about culture, let's look at the power distance and individuality. Collectivism, which also affects the negotiation process. Low power distance ensures free flowing of ideas and cooperation during negotiation, whereas individualism is about self-interest. So if we talk about countries with individualistic culture, then it is all about self-interest, whereas countries with collectivism as their culture talks about managers favoring collectivism, giving more value to building relationship essential for bargaining. In individualistic culture, negotiators from individualistic culture impose their decisions on others, whereas in collectivistic culture, negotiators from collectivistic culture seek to obtain groups' input that may slow down the negotiation process. Now, while none of the cultural influence is right or wrong, but culture adds complexity, subtlety, and confusion to an already complex process. Savvy and effective managers include culture in their preparation and other phases of negotiation to ensure that they meet their goals and those of the other person. Knowledge of culture at all levels, including organizational culture, can help in negotiation. So the table below talks about comparison of cultural approaches to negotiation from the perspective of an American, Indian, and an Arab. One can have a look at it in detail. I'll just be talking about one or two aspects under this. If you talk about the American negotiator, then he or she accepts compromise when deadlock occurs and has firm initial and final stands. Whereas an Indian negotiator relies on truth, trust instincts, and seeks compromises. An Arab negotiator protects face of other parties, avoids confrontation, and uses a referent person to try to change others. Example, do it for your father. Now, gender is also one of the important aspects affecting negotiation. There is contrasting study on gender differences in negotiation. A popular belief is that women are more cooperative and pleasant in negotiation than a man. The evidence does not support this belief, though. There is relatively small difference that in comparison with women, men have found to be negotiating better outcomes. Since women are expected to be nice and men tough, women are penalized when they initiate negotiations. Evidences also show that women's own attitude and behavior hurt them in negotiations. Also, in anticipation of negotiation, women managers display less confidence than men. Women appear to be less satisfied with their performance afterwards, even if their performance is at par with their male counterparts. Women do not see ambiguity as an opportunity for negotiation than men do. Research also supports that women are less aggressive in negotiation because of fear of backlash from others. It is also considered that women are seen to be engaged in aggressive negotiation when they are bargaining on the behalf of someone else, when they are bargaining on their own behalf. So this illustration talks about evidence-based actions to help women achieve a successful negotiation. This includes advocacy, experience, and preparation. Advocacy would allow negotiating on behalf of someone else. Then experience talks about taking every opportunity to develop the negotiation skills. And preparation is all about research and getting the relevant information before sitting down to negotiate.